you've obviously decided to, you've stepped down from the pulpit of Redeemer, you're battling cancer, you've got challenges like why city to city at this point in your life? You've been involved in lots of things, you've touched lots of ministries. Why this at this point in life for you?
Well, yeah, about the cancer, for example. I mean, it really does. The day after I found out I had pancreatic cancer, the two thoughts that came to me that have stayed with me: sanctification and focus, better focus. Because you know, 1 Corinthians 7 says the time is short, and it's not talking just to cancer people, by the way. It's talking to all of us. Your time is short, but you don't really believe it until you get a diagnosis like that. You just don't believe it. So when that happened, I started saying, okay, what's the most strategic thing I can do? And actually, and I know that our hearts have a real tendency to self-justification. I decided there couldn't be a more strategic place for me to use what time I got left than city to city. I got 5 reasons though. Okay. And the one reason is because first of all, is that the world is still going to cities. And you may have heard me say this or somebody else. Essentially, Europe went from 25% urban to 75% urban population over a period of 150 years. It was technology that did that. It pulled people out of the country into the cities. But that's actually happening. Then it happened in North America. Between 1950 and 1980, it happened to Latin America. Did you know that when I was born, now you know when I was born, 1950, 25% of Latin Americans lived in cities. Now it's 80% within my lifetime. Now that's happening in Asia. And last of all, it'll happen in Africa, and it'll take most of the rest of the century. But when it's all done, 75 to 80% of the world's population will be in cities. And the church isn't anywhere close to have been moving into the city as fast as people are. And city is about city. A second of the 5 reasons would be that a lot of movements that are church planting movements are program driven. Here's how you do your music. Here's how you do your work. Here's how you do a church. And they try to do that everywhere in the world. City to city is, we would say it's DNA driven. So we've got core emphases that we know work in every big city, but we really deeply want you to contextualize. And we put a stress on that is really one of the reasons why, number 3, my third reason to work with city to city is we have like a 90% success rate. Like in the United States right now, only about 65% of new churches last past the 4th year. But city to city has a much higher success rate. That's number 3. So, the need for urban churches, number 1, the approach to contextualization. Number 3 is the remarkable success rate. Number 4 actually is because city to city is not actually a proprietary network or a denomination. That is, when we don't go in and plant our churches. We go into a city and we help all the different evangelical denominations and networks plant better churches and far more. But then we don't plant our own. In other words, we help you plant yours. So we're not competition. So when a new church network moves into a city, they can't convene the rest of the city to say, how are we going to really reach the city? They can't do that because they're competitors. And, that's okay. Well, that's, you try to get a bunch of people together and say, well, that's their group. Whereas city to city actually has this unique convening ability to bring the churches of a city together to reach the city. So it's got the convening ability, contextualization, success rate, just expertise in urban. We're the only organization I know that does nothing but missions in big cities. And lastly, city to city is right on the cusp of having indigenized a lot of its training. So instead of, if you want to plant a church in Japan, you used to have to go to New York to get trained. Now it's actually done in Tokyo in Japanese. And we were just before the pandemic, City of Cities actually helped something like 900 churches get started worldwide in the biggest cities of the world, in 65 to 70 cities. But we were actually just on the cusp of moving to like 150 to 200 a year. And the pandemic sort of put a kibosh on that, but we think we're going to get that back. So we're right on the cusp of some kind of exponential growth. You put all that together, what else should I be doing? You say, well, Tim, why don't you spend time writing books? Oh, the world really needs another Tim Keller book. I would hope that, no, you don't need more sermons in Tim Keller. You need something strategic. And so I just can't think of a better use of my time.